Here's a decision every team faces. You have virtual machines in Azure, and you need to administer them over Remote Desktop Protocol, RDP, or Secure Shell, SSH. The lazy answer is slap a public key on the VM and open port 33, 89, or 22. Don't. Those ports get scanned and brute forced within minutes of going live. In this video, we'll walk through the realistic options for secure VM access, the criteria that actually matter, where Azure Bastion fits, and when something cheaper or simpler is the better call. Before picking a tool, get clear on what you're optimizing for. First, attack surface. Does the VM need any public IP at all? Second, identity and auditing. Can you tie access to Azure Active Directory, now Microsoft Entra ID, and log every session? Third, operational overhead. Are you patching and securing a jump box yourself? Fourth, cost. Is this billed per hour, per gigabyte, or flat? And fifth, reach. Do you need access from anywhere or only from your corporate network? Hold these 5 criteria in mind because each option trades them off differently. You have 4 common approaches. 1. A self-managed jump box, a hardened VM with a public IP that you connect to first. Cheap, but it's a VM you must patch and defend. 2. A site-to-site or point-to-site VPN, virtual private network, so you reach VMs over private IPs. Great if you already run one. 3. Just-in-time VM access via Microsoft Defender for Cloud, which opens the management port only for a short window from a specific source. For Azure Bastion, a managed service that brokers RDP and SSH over TLS straight from the portal. Let's see how Bastion actually works. Azure Bastion is a platform managed service you deploy into a dedicated subnet named Azure Bastion Subnet inside your virtual network. Your VMs keep only private IPs with no public exposure at all. You open the Azure portal, click Connect, and Bastion proxies an RDP or SSH session over port 443 using TLS, Transport Layer Security. The session streams to your browser. Because Bastion lives inside the virtual network, it reaches any peered VM privately. You get no agent to install, no client software, and on the standard tier, integration with Microsoft Entra ID and session recording. Bastion comes in tiers and the choice matters. The developer SKU is free and zero deploy, but it's meant for ad hoc dev access to a single VM with no scaling. The basic SKU gives you a fixed 2-instance deployment for production basics. The standard SKU unlocks host scaling, native client support so you can use your own SSH client, shareable links, IP-based connection, and session recording. Rule of thumb, use standard when you need scale or audit features, basic for simple steady access, and developer only for experimentation. Pricing and feature mapping shift, so check the current Azure docs before you commit. The closest competitor is just-in-time access. Both reduce exposure, but differently. Just-in-time still requires a public IP on the VM. It just keeps the port closed until an approved request opens it for, say, 3 hours from your source IP. It's cheaper and leans on your existing tooling. Bastion removes the public IP entirely and gives a smoother browser experience, but it runs continuously and costs more. My rule, if you already run Defender for Cloud and want minimal spend, just-in-time is fine. If zero public IPs is a hard security requirement, choose Bastion. Bastion is not free to leave running. Basic and standard bill an hourly charge per Bastion host plus an outbound data transfer rate, and standard adds per instance scaling cost. For a single occasionally accessed VM, that hourly charge can dwarf the VM itself. So consolidate, one Bastion host serves an entire virtual network and its peered networks, so share it across many VMs rather than deploying one per workload. For rarely touched environments, just-in-time or even tearing Bastion down between uses can be far cheaper. Always model your real usage against current pricing. So here's the framework. Never put bare RDP or SSH on the public internet. If you need zero public IPs and clean, audited browser access for a fleet, deploy one shared Azure Bastion host, standard tier when you want session recording and scale. If cost matters more and you already run Defender for Cloud, use just-in-time access. If you have a VPN, lean on it. Your one concrete action today, audit your subscription for any VM with a public IP and an open management port and close it. Then pick the access pattern that fits your reach, audit, and budget needs, and verify the latest tiers and pricing in the Azure docs. If this helped, do me a favor, hit the like button, subscribe, and tap the bell so you don't miss the next one. See you in the next video.